Uh, Lesson 2, Branches of Agriculture. In this lesson, we are going to talk about different branches of agriculture. What makes up agriculture? Agriculture is made up of 5 branches. The first one is crop production. Number 2, livestock production. Number 3, agriculture engineering. Number 4, agriculture economics. And number 5, soil science. Crop production are the first branch. Crop production is the growing of crops on cultivated land. These crops can be grown in pure stands, which is called monocropping, or mixed stands, which is called intercropping. In monocropping, for example, you just grow only maize on a given piece of land or in a given duration of time. Where intercropping, you can grow maize and beans on a piece of land, or maize in the midst of bananas. That's mixed cropping. Now, crop production is divided into two sub branches, that is field crops and horticultural crops. Field crops entails the growing of crops in fairly large pieces of land, and this can be done annually, biannually, or perennially. We'll talk about more about this as we proceed. Horticultural crops involves growing of fruits, vegetables, and flowers, and this has been given different names. For example, growing of vegetables is called olericulture. Growing of fruits is called pomology. Flowers is called floriculture, and growing of grapes is called viticulture. We are going to get these things in pictorial view as we proceed. From our previous slide, we have defined field crops as crops that are grown on fairly large pieces of land. And we have said that these crops can be grouped into annual crops, biannual crops, and perennial crops. Now, what are these annual crops? They are those crops that stay in the field for a period of less than 1 year or close to 1 year. They include cereals like maize and pulses like beans, peas, lentils. Essentially, they stay in the field for a period of less than 1 year or close to a year. Biannual crops. From the word bi means two. So these are crops that are able to stay in the field for a period of more than 1 year but less than 2 years. Their developmental period is limited to a duration of more than 1 year but less than 2 years. So it's between 1 year and close to the second year. Then good crops like carrots. We're used to harvesting carrots annually, but essentially carrots can stay by annual crop. They can stay in the field for a period of more than 1 year, but less than 2 years. So in case you have a market problem in carrots and they don't sell, you can leave them in the field. The problem is that they may be affected by various pests and diseases that may reduce their productivity, but they're able to stay more than that period. We have crops like sugar cane or the cane family. They can be able to stay for 18 months. That's when their maturity period reaches, and they have the right quantity or proportion of sugar to be processed. We have varieties like the leeks that are on your picture. They look like big onions. Mm. The garlic, those are biannual crops. Perennial crops. These are crops that have the ability to remain in the field and remain viable for more than 2 years. They include crops like coffee. You've seen coffee stay in the field for more than 10 years. Tea even for more than 30 years, and sisal.